The state of Texas is trying to get custody of an elderly woman, even though she says she wants to stay in her home. The same thing happened to her sister 3 years ago. People familiar with the way these cases work say the system is being abused. Laurie Berger with one woman's fight for freedom. And Laurie, the experts say it's happening too often. Explain.
Well, yeah, Suzanne Foley was traumatized by what happened to her sister. The way that it was described to me is that a van pulled up, they took her from her home, and she never came back. And now Suzanne Foley fears that this may be a similar fate. Say nursing home to Suzanne Foley, and this is how she reacts.
That word, it's horrible.
Why do you react that way?
Because they don't do nothing good for the people who are there.
Foley, who's 85, suffers from Alzheimer's and dementia, according to her caregiver, Kathy Gilbreth. But Gilbreth says she can still get around her house.
She dresses herself every day, and she is a very independent woman.
Foley is from Switzerland, but this house in Mineral Wells has been her home for the past 20 years. You don't want anybody to come and take you from your home?
No. Absolutely not. That's my house, and I stay in my house.
Perhaps not for long. Tuesday, a county judge in the tiny town of Palo Pinto held a hearing where the state of Texas asked to take over Ms. Foley's affairs and her sizable bank account. The judge closed the court to the public and now has issued a gag order prohibiting the participants from discussing what happened. The process is familiar to Virginia Prichett.
This guardianship law is a big money grab.
Prichett was good friends with Denise Ty, Suzanne Foley's sister. In 2011, she says Ty got sick and went to the doctor. Prichett says that was the beginning of the end of Ty's independence. Adult Protective Services got involved. With no will, no close family, other than her equally elderly sister, Ty was placed in a nursing home 20 miles away. Her belongings sold off.
And her money was siphoned between state agencies, a nursing home where she never wanted to go, and it was terribly sad.
Denise Ty died in January with no friends or family with her.
My friend had plenty of money, and like I said, she couldn't buy herself out of this horrible situation at all. Not at all.
You think that, in fact, that her money actually was a problem?
Oh, I think it absolutely was. They saw money and they grabbed it.
Dr. William Tedford has seen cases like this before. As professor emeritus of psychology at SMU, he's frequently called as an expert to evaluate the elderly for court cases.
I think that almost anybody who's looked at the situation professionally agrees that staying in the home is the preferred solution if it's at all possible.
But Dr. Tedford says too often the state interjects itself into these people's lives. Caseworkers, lawyers, accountants taking over without being asked.
I think primarily the major motive in most cases is just plain greed, looking for the money.
The court records show that Suzanne Foley has about $250,000 in her accounts. The state is asking for a guardianship, saying that her caregiver, Kathy Gilbreth, has spent too much of her money. The state's asking that she no longer have power of attorney over Ms. Foley and that she no longer have access to her accounts. Gilbreth now lives with Suzanne Foley and has taken care of her for the past 3 years. Foley says Gilbreth and the sitters she hires when she needs to be away do a good job.
We are friends.
They take good care of you?
Yes.
At this court hearing, the state brought at least a dozen people to present their case for guardianship. Kathy Gilbreth and a few others spoke on Suzanne Foley's behalf. But anyone who wants to know her wishes needs only ask. And what do you want?
Good people leave me in peace.
I spoke to the judge. He has not ruled on the guardianship yet for Suzanne Foley. He told me that he plans to set another hearing. He wants to hear more evidence before making his decision. Steve?
All right, Laurie, so what it sounds like is the state is saying the caregiver is taking too much of her money or taking her money, so the state's going to take her money instead. Is there another option besides those two?
Well, something that Dr. Tedford suggested, if they're concerned about the way that the money is being spent and perhaps that it may not last as long as Ms. Foley needs it, why not request bills or some kind of a balance sheet and examine that rather than just completely taking over her life and putting her in a nursing home. That way they can make sure that the money is spent in a way that will last.
Yeah, some sort of middle ground there. All right, Laurie Berger, we'll see what happens with this. Thank you very much.